Welcome back, everyone. Today we have more Cube on the calendar. I should be playing Modern, but Cube is more fun, and I don't have access to Modern Horizons 3 until Friday, so might as well get in some more Cube drafts for everybody's pleasure. Nice pack, nice pack. It's a nice pack in the sense that the pick isn't given. Oof, very tough. So I love miscalculation and spell pierce in any blue deck, but it's going to be hard to pass this fetch land. It's going to be good if I am blue. It's going to be good if I'm not blue. So if I'm trying to have as wide of a range as possible, taking the Misty leaves me open to getting past, the best possible cards. I wouldn't fault anyone for saying I'm a degenerate. I want Lionside Diamond, or I want my miscalculation because I'll play blue 9 out of 10 drafts, so might as well make that decision right now and move on with it. Okay, next pack here. It looks like it's going to be a bit of an easier pick. Library of Alexandria is part of this. It's basically how I explain to less experienced cube drafters. It's like a card that will make my deck and be good in my deck 99 times out of 100. It's in the same category as cards like Gitaxian Probe, Strip Mine, Dismember. So yeah, needless to say, very, very strong card. I will say that when you draft Library of Alexandria, you will lose out on some tempo because you have a land kind of locked up. I mean, sure, you can tap it for mana, but you want to get the extra card out of it if you have it in your opener. And if that's the case, you want cheap creatures, cheap removal to, the best thing you can be doing is like activate your library, fatal push the opponent's creature, activate your library, duress the opponent's hand, like stuff like that. We don't want to go to cleanup, and we want to not fall too far behind. So yeah, we take library here. Can we wheel anything exciting? Tough to say, but I mean, I like cards like Preacher, Serum Missions, Unholy Heat, Godless Shrine, of course. So now is a tough one because Karakas is very, very powerful. I'm not like the biggest Karakas fan out there. That's not to say I don't like the card. It's just to say I'm not the biggest Karakas fan out there. I am, however, a big Mana League fan. This pack is actually quite solid. So Karakas is awesome. Mana League is awesome. And then I think there's a little bit of drop off to cards like Fatal Push, Luminarch Aspirant. But yeah, pretty solid pack. And I think this is my time to take my first colored card in Mana League. Okay, so now at this stage of the draft, I'm mainly looking to take the strongest card out of the pack. And it's only if there's some kind of tie that the tiebreaker would be what goes well with what I already have, right? So here, I think that will lead me to take Jace's Prodigy. And the cool thing about Jace's Prodigy is that card also wants like cheap instants and sorceries, just like Library, so we can maybe get some cohesive deck going here. A lot of cards on similar power level here. I mean, Petal can be cool. Ran out some good stuff ahead of schedule. Rebel Master solid. Mastermind is like my card 22, 23 whenever I play blue decks. Like, it's fine. Sometimes the 2-1 can do good things. But yeah, nothing to get super excited about. And speaking of nothing to get excited about, we have this pack. Yeah, this pack is really not strong. I'm going to take the duel out of this pack simply because, I mean, what am I going to take here? A removal spell I can't cast. Aggro card I can't cast and doesn't go with my stuff. So at least like Grixis is a good combination for controlling cheap stuff. Like now I can take Lightning Bolt, etc. Or Lightning Bolt's slightly less powerful friend, Burst Lightning. Is that good? Maybe it's not good, but I think it's serviceable. I think I'm supposed to take Burst Lightning here. Blue, red, something. So, I mean, I like all color combinations, so I think that's the best card in the pack. And then I also like cards like Glimmerlens, but taking that as my first white card is probably not ideal. The thing is, white could be open this draft, which is kind of a tough situation, but let's see. Okay, this is going to be interesting. So Delighted Halfling. Delighted Halfling is the best card in this pack. Hmm. And if I were to play that card, would then I would probably have to discard Burst Lightning and Badlands and set up for some blue-green action. Misty is a good land for blue-green. I don't think that's insane. The other option for me is Slickshot Show Off and try and build some kind of aggro control deck, basically. I think I'm supposed to take Halfling here, but it's also kind of rough. This is not what I wanted to see. So Green Sun Zenith is a stretch to take here, I would say. The Time Warp is good with Jace, so maybe just take the Time Warp and kind of postpone the actual decision. I think Reprieve is probably the best standalone card here. Okay, tough draft. Tough draft. Wow! Ugh, wheeling miscalculation. Oof. That is very, very lucky. Even Brainstorm I would be happy with at this stage. So, okay, so we add 2 more blue cards to the fold. And I wheel Creature with Relic, Mind Collapse, Adversary. I think the white train has already taken off from the station. What about black? Maybe I take the Preacher. It's that or like Relic for hate picking. Really don't think Mind Collapse is a great card in these kind of more controlling decks. Okay. So taking Savannah doesn't seem very good. This card is never going to do anything in my deck. Triplicate Titan is like insanely speculative. It's like Tinker, maybe Flash. I'll take the Savannah here because I have Misty, and that could set up some splashes in the future. Okay, so Cutdown versus Fairy Mastermind is actually a real decision here. Maybe I take Cutdown. Am I supposed to be blue-black here? Okay, I'll try and take the Cutdown. This is a weird draft, so maybe let... Yeah, it doesn't matter. 15th pick, Glimmerlands. So I think in a perfect world, I go into mono white at some point here and play from there, but it was a tough call to make, even though it was... Everybody could see it was how the draft was shaping up. So right now, my best guess is I'm going blue-black. But like, if I open a Premier Red card or Premier Green card, I'm back into these colors. So we can just speculate on the support color over here. Spread out the lands a little bit here. All right, next booster. Here we have Palace Jailer as the best card. That's just not really a contest. Quite the drop off until stuff like Fractured Steam Vents, Snapcaster, stuff like that. That being said, I can take Steam Vents here and bolster my blue-red situation. Maybe try and go full-on Grixis. That's probably the move, actually. Okay. There's also Snapcaster Mage. Maybe that's better. Oh, so if I take Snapcaster Mage, I set myself up to flashback my Cutdown or Burst Lightning. Yeah, this looks like a great Snapcaster deck. Okay. I'll take the Snapcaster. It's kind of a weird draft because I have a lot of choices between solid to good blue card or, branch out. And I haven't really found the obvious spot to branch out just yet. Okay, so we can play Tolarian Academy, which is probably the best card in this pack. But I'm very, very high on Snuff Out. It's an incentive to actually go into blue-black for sure this time. And I mean, I guess something weird can happen, like get past, I don't know, Lightning Bolt, get past Fable of the Mirror Breaker, stuff like that, and then we're back on. But Snuff Out is a very good removal. Like having a free removal. Worth noting is it does not work with Snapcaster the way you want it to. Okay, so what do we have here? I have a tapped blue-black land, which is not nothing. I have a fetch that right now only gets Savannah, which is not... Yeah, it's just not interesting. Then there's a Theater in case I want to go Grixis. Right now I'm leaning towards this, one of the 2 lands of Rafine's Tower or Shelldock. I could see Shelldock. Yeah, let's try and take Shelduck here and see what happens. Kind of the same thing all over again, where should I take the blue card? It's not really a blue card, but you know what I'm saying, and or should I bolster the other color? Yeah, this pack is quite solid. We have Bobble and Seed Shark. I think Seed Shark is quite awesome. Especially, I love it in theory with cards like Snuff Out. I love it with Force of Will. I love it with Delve Spells. Good with Time Warp. So yeah, this it's not quite like a Monastery Mentor type card, but it's reasonable. Ooh, okay. Now I get past a Sheoldred in a pack with like bad cards for me and a Shinobi. That's insane. Sheoldred is awesome here. This is pick 5, Sheoldred. That's like the best you can ever hope for. And here's a Grief to follow it up. So worth noting is Grief is not broken or anything in this format at all, but it is solid. Like the flexibility to play it early against Unfair, comboed with Reanimation down the line, solid card turn 4. Okay, I don't mind that. So here we have basically nothing and a Spell Seeker. Spell Seeker is good if I end up with something like Ancestral Recall, Time Walk, Flash, Mind Twist. Right now it gets either a Mana Leak or a Cut Down, but that's serviceable, I would say. This pack is insane for me. I would have loved to take 4 cards out of this pack. Aito, Bronco, Infernal Grasp, but I'm going to take the Hull Breacher. That's like the most unique effect, and I already have some removal spells, so I add Hull Breacher to the deck. I even wheel the Steam Vents. So now I have to think, which card do I actually want to splash off red? It's like Bombardier, Fable, but aside from that, I don't think there are that many. So maybe I just take the Turok here. Turok is very tough on the mana, though. Maybe I don't take that card. Maybe I take Skydiver with the intention to sideboard it. Yeah, let's take the Skydiver. Wow, so Curtains and Tidebinder are decent cards, so maybe because of, like, curve purposes, I take the Curtains? Yeah, I think that's the move. I think Tidebinder is slightly better, but thinking about your mana curve, like, it's not good to have a hand and have, like, 3/3 drops. That'll get awkward. Then it's better to mix in the 1 drop, even though I realize this is also kind of a 3 drop, but at least it's an anti-aggro card. So very late Grimont. This pack is just solid. Card Evidence, good if you have artifact synergies. Night's Whisper, solid in most decks, so I guess I'll take that card. Surveillance are good. Grim Monolith can be strong, and the Fireball as well, decent. In general, pretty good packs, and blue-black as a color combination is open. I do have to work on my mana, though, because I got a bit greedy with the... What was the card? The Triumph. I took something over the Triumph that I'm sure was a good idea at the time. Maybe it was Snap. No, not Snap. It was Sheldok. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'll make that pick any day of the week. So let's just hope we can bolster our mana, because this Badlands, funnily enough, could help us if we get something like Scalding Tarn. Then Scalding Tarn can find basic island and a swamp. So we'll keep it in here for now. As always, thanks so much for checking out my content. It means a lot. I really, really enjoy this journey. I guess we take Long Goodbye here. I'm not high on that card, though. Yeah, the support means a lot, especially you guys are very welcoming of new kinds of content. If you haven't already, I suggest you check out the Legacy topic podcast I did with Ali the other day. That holds a lot of nuance and analysis and actual numbers, and also a little bit of history when it comes to the precedence of bans in Legacy and the reasoning for the bans. And then we sprinkle in our own opinions on top of that. So yeah, definitely worth your time if you care about Legacy and want to hear a stats guy and a player with 22,000 matches under his belt talk about that format. So the Shinobi Wield, which is strong, like the card is decent with especially like the cheap evasive cards, but right now we don't have those, so maybe Shinobi doesn't make the deck. Maybe it's a sideboard card against Unfair. I like it quite a bit. I think it has like an angle of attack that can be nasty for the opponent. So basically, fixing and cheap stuff. That's what we're on the lookout for here. Underground Sea, Water Grave, Polluted Delta, Prismatic Vista, even cards like Dark Slick Shores I would be happy to play. Force of Will, Force of Negation would be great. Counterspell, Mana Drain, Spell Pierce is gone, so can't mention that. Even cards like Stern Scolding, I really like. That card is just solid. Oftentimes trades up on mana, good with Snapcaster. Really takes the top off of like aggressive decks or like a Mana Dork out of green or whatever it is. Gives you time to get into the mid game. Your card quality can take over. That's usually like the game plan. And one of the cards I love to have like on top of the curve is Mystic Confluence. It's like if you can 1-for-1 your way up to that point and then go for the 3-for-1, that's like a recipe for winning the game. So let's hope for that. Thoughtseize, Inquisition, Duress. I like those discard spells as well. And right now I even have like Long Goodbye against aggro, Skydiver against artifacts, Soul Guide against graveyard. It's something I should talk more about. Maybe I should do a video about like sideboard cards in Cube. I actually think it's quite an interesting topic. With like the corner cases between when should I pick up a mediocre card for my deck, when should I pick up a sideboard card, like maybe some scenarios when it comes to that. Okay, so what do we have here? I mean, these cards are great, but not the best for me, unfortunately. So let's see. If I take the Atraxa, I'll just reserve that card for now. How many cards do I have to bin the Atraxa? Only Jace. So I'm a long way from making that work. If I take Jace the Mind Sculptor, I mean, that card is solid. It's nothing special. Getting like good 3s, 4s, and 5s that win the game if uncontested is not really that hard. I'm a bit worried about taking the Atraxa, like wasting that pick, maybe getting like one reanimation spell but no way to put it in the yard, and then it's kind of not the best. It's close for me between Jace and Atraxa. Okay, let me take the Jace here and see where that kind of takes me. Here's Stern Scolding and a land. I think I have to take the land at this point. It's obviously a fetchable. Helps my mana. Yeah, I'll take the land here over Stern Scolding, but I do like Stern Scolding. Best card in this pack is probably something like Chain Lightning and Sneak Attack, but that's not for us. At this point, we're already well established into blue-black control. So that's also the difference between playing a league where I'm not going to face the opponents I'm passing to. Let's say I was playing at the Mox. Then you have to think about, medium card for my deck or disrupt my neighbor. I like that dynamic a lot. It adds a layer to the game for sure. Okay, so here we have 2 good cards for my deck. I'm not going to take the Bombardier, even though that is by far the best card in the deck. I don't want to stress this mana. It's by far the best card in the pack, rather. However, Dismember and Daze are both very, very good. I feel like it's Daze. We have removal. Big chunky creature that stops aggression. Same here. Yeah, and Daze can kind of stop everything, and it's insane with Seed Shark, or like, let's say, tap out for Sheldred or Jace, and then protect with 3 counter magic. So I take Daze here over Dismember, and I hope to wheel the Lasav, but I don't care too much about that card. Something like Baleful Strix would also be awesome. Kaito's already gone. I'm trying to think about the gold cards that nobody else should want. Yeah, at least, so this deck is not broken or anything. We didn't see any power this draft, but at least we're in for a good games here. That's what I like the most about blue-black. In general, I think all archetypes are strong, so I don't care too much about that. But I prefer like the longer games and back and forth and counter this or save my removal spell for that, sculpt the game plan. I enjoy that a lot. So here we have some cool cards. I mean, Spelljacker is a cool top end, but I'm going to take the land here and bolster my mana. So at this stage of the draft, you should kind of count. So we have 23 cards down here, and 5 of them are lands. That means we're down to 8. We have 18 spells, and we're supposed to get to like 23, 24, depending on how many cantrips we have. So you need to make sure that you get there. So let's say we just have very poor packs to finish this draft, and we only get like a few playables. We can play like Skydiver, Long Goodbye, Lantern from the sideboard. So having an overview about how are you doing on the playable count is important when you face a choice like, I guess this choice is not hard at all. I want to bolster my mana, but let's say there's a better card than Spelljacker and Dark Ritual here. Then it can help you make the decision, like, how am I doing on playables? Wow, that looks like a brick pack to me. Yeah, this pack has nothing in it, so the only reasonable choices are take Revoker, sideboard it in against whatever. Once you know if your opponent, the opponent has Sneak Attack, the opponent has Grim Monolith, the opponent has Minsk and Boo. What do I know? Like then you can. It's like a sideboard card for control, or it's like green in case I get past. I'm trying to think, it's like Pest Infestation, Oko, Leovold. Yeah, I'm gonna speculate here on the green, but the list is quite short when it comes to green cards that I can realistically get past at this point. Yeah, that was not strong at all. Like terrible pack. So I'm still at 18 playables, and I have some way to go here. So Bitter Triumph I like a lot. I'm happy to see that card. It's like 6th pick, Premier Removal. I like that a lot. Best card in the pack. Let's say, yeah, probably Birds, but Bitter Triumph is up there, and yeah, definitely very strong. So this would have been a way to discard Atraxa. I can't remember what I took over the Atraxa, but I imagine maybe it was land. Can't remember. It's always fun to like see how it would have worked out, and you can do that in the third pack where there's no more like context of back and forth sending the packs and the signals. You can just see, would I have gotten there, basically, which is not useful in the grand scheme of things, but can be cool for your curiosity. But at the time, I thought Atraxa was too much work. So I picked something else. Yeah, I mean, there's the Entomb, which would have severely improved Atraxa. So this is actually kind of interesting because Entomb was not opened early, so maybe nobody was Reanimator. But then again, only like 2/3 of the cards are in the draft, so I don't think that's. It's tough. It's tough to see anyway. Maybe I should take like the Shadow Spear. This pack is horrible. I mean, the Shadow Spear is not good either. I need some help here. I'm only at 19 like spells I'm happy to play. I mean, I'll play the Soul Guide, don't get me wrong. Skydiver, Long Goodbye. I mean, we can put those in, but that does make the deck look very, very mediocre. A mana base isn't very good either. I feel like this color combination was open. Maybe not blue. It's tough. It's tough to say. Maybe it wasn't open, but it was a decent seat for me to have. I did get past that Sheldred way too late. So here is, funnily enough, the Atraxa Entomb Goryo's Vengeance. I could have completed here, but with no tutors, it would just be, yeah, a lot of dead draws. Shredder I actually think is decent. Unfortunately, I don't have anything like Bauble, Preordain, Ponder, stuff like that, but the card is solid, and I have a Ninja, so a cheap flyer is not that bad. It's cool if you have the like enough reps in, and those guys are wheeling. That's kind of amazing. If you have enough reps in, then you know, oh, I have a Shinobi, then some cards move up the ranks, right? The priority ranks. Oh, I have a Snapcaster, then these cards become better. It's kind of cool once you get to that level, let's call it that. Because then there's just no two drafts are the same, right? Also, I feel like Right now I have the... I think I actually missed a Time Twister somewhere, but I can't remember. I just feel like I've seen a Time Twister. So, sometimes with incompleted combos, I put them over here, but the problem is I also see Hullbreacher as just a solid, standalone card, so I wouldn't put it over there. Let's say I had a Flash, I would put it here. Let's say I had a Gristlebrand, I would put it here. Ooh, I wield a Stern Scolding. Okay, that's sick. So now I got there, but I added the, bad cards to the deck. Or not bad cards, but, situational ones. Maybe Skydiver is actually fine because I have the Shinobi. And if I play against artifact decks, that's a lot of and maybe there's an equipment or a construct token or whatever. That card is fine. I'm not too picky about that card. Okay, so we did wield the Lazav. I'm not sure if I want that card. Maybe. Maybe I can sideboard the Lantern. And let's see. 11, 16. I have to make one more cut. I mean, I can easily cut some stuff here. I can't remember if I have any potential wheels out of this draft. I guess we just have to wait and see. Let's wait and see. So in the beginning of this draft, it was kind of hard to navigate because it was like, oh, Badlands here, Burst Lightning there, Halfling here. It was not easy. Dark Ritual. So I have Sheoldred, I have Grief, I have Shinobi, and I have Time Warp. Also I have Preacher. So funnily enough, I'm actually playing Dark Ritual in this deck. It's fine. It's like a Lotus Petal-ish. Sometimes better, sometimes worse. Sideboard the Revoker. I want to go turn 1 Preacher. That would be kind of cool. Or turn 2 Sheoldred. Lazav. Attack, get a clue. Exile target card. Yeah, it's not amazing, but can be fine. I don't have any bonkers synergies with it. Making the clues is kind of cool, though. So right now, I think I have to make 1 cut or play 16 lands. The Ritual doesn't really count as a land. I have a Night's Whisper, have Jace. I can kind of dig for the next land. But I want to make, my first 4 to 5 land drops every game, I feel like, so I should probably cut a spell. So which spell should I cut? Which spell should I cut? Lazav, maybe? Yeah, I don't think that card is amazing. So let's see if this suggestion makes any sense. I'll count blue 1, 2, 3, 4. That put me at 10, which is very decent. How about black? 1, 2, 3. That put me at 9. So 10, 9. 10, 9 is probably okay. Have the Ritual to help a little bit. Okay, we can play this. So yeah, a nice solid blue-black control deck. So let's hope for some great games. See you there. All right, we're on the draw here for round 1. I'm playing blue-black control, and this hand seems okay. I have Snuff Out and Mana Leak to buy time. In a perfect world, I don't have to Snuff Out until I have Seed Shark in play. But let's see. If the opponent goes something like Rofellos or something, I have to kill it. But if not, I want to find my 3rd land in time, and there it is. I'm going to play Misty turn 1, and fetch out the tap Triumph. So, funnily enough, there's one card in the cube that you should watch out for when it comes to not cracking fetches. There's the Tidebinder, so it's kind of like Stifle in Legacy, where you sometimes have to fetch at bad times to not get blown out by that card. So there's something to be said about that. Yeah, draw land number 4, which is fine. I need that anyway at some point. The opponent's holding up 2 mana. I'm holding up 2 mana. So small, tiny thing here is I play out Swamp instead of Island here because I want to represent fewer counterspells than if I play this. If I play Island, I also represent Drain and counterspells. So basically, I want my opponent to play a good spell and get mana leaked here so I can tap out for the Seed Shark. It's a small thing, but that sometimes you can... Ooh, Caracas is going to be insane against Sheldred later. Very sad to see that card. Yeah, the Scarlet, I feel like I... Wait. So now it's a matter of, do I rather want a leak for later? Maybe I do. Yeah, maybe I go Seed Shark, snuff out that one. Yeah, it's not an easy call. The opponent will get in for 3, 16, play Seed Shark, snuff it out, go to 12, and then I have a Seed Shark and a 4/4 coming. I think that's decent. Seed Shark. Snuff out. And yeah, it's a bit awkward. The reason why I do this is if the opponent just kills the Seed Shark, I'm not getting any mileage out of the when it comes to the incubator. But also mana leak can be awkward later. Let's say the opponent plays something insane, and then the damage is already done, and maybe I could have killed that with snuff out. So it's a tough call, but I think I like this. Also, it looks like the next turn, I'm going to use my mana in a way where I hold up Leak and I hold up Activation for this. So it kind of plays well with my plan here, but let's see how bad things get here. Yeah, this is a very, very good example of... Yeah, it's a very good example of, why that sequence could be bad. Okay. So that card is gone. The opponent has an Omnath. I also have a 4/4 if I want to. There's Stern Scolding. So I guess I pass? Pyrokinesis was annoying, but also, kind of a steep investment from the opponent. My Sheldred doesn't do anything, which is a bit scary. And I need to deal with that Omnath eventually. I can gain life here. I do have the 4... Oh, wow. The opponent bouncing Omnath. That seems like my way to win this game. Okay, let's mana leak the Omnath. Wow. Make this into a creature. I can now steal a Mox. Maybe that's decent. I think I will do that, and then kind of get a little bit greedy with my Time Warp. So I go Skydiver, hold up double blue, steal Ruby, pass. I don't expect the Stern Scolding to counter anything. If it does, it's a very good day at the office. And I'm trying to tempo out my opponent here, which is, I think, the correct game plan here. Okay, so very fortunate that my Stern Scolding turned 6 traits for something that was actually impactful. Wow. Okay, so I keep drawing good stuff here. Let's first make our opponent, I think this is just, I don't have removal, because they're not going to take that much damage, I feel like. So let's go Time Warp, try and not get Spell Pierced. Let's go Curtains, try and not get Mana Tithe. Dazed. That also worked. Ooh. So do I want to pick my opponent's best card out of their hand or start triggering Shinobi? I think I want to start triggering Shinobi, to be honest. I could also find land and do both. Yeah, this really developed nicely for me. So I'll get in for 8. And the opponent has seen enough. Wow. Woohoo! The opponent probably, like, they obviously had like a terrible hand, and only had the Caracas Omnath like as a path to like put up a fight and try and grind me out, but they got so punished by that mana leak. Okay, so playing against multicolor green ramp, do we have any crappy cards in the deck? I don't think we have bad cards. It looks like even the Stern Scolding was decent. So do we have any answers for Umnath? We don't, because Long Goodbye is 3 mana or less. So you could argue the Lazav if the opponent doesn't have like many blockers. It could be an insane turn 2 play. Some mocks, so this is viable. Spellseeker can go and find Ritual, Cut Down, Mana Leak, and Bitter Triumph Night's Whisper, so that card is okay. I think we just submit again here. How many legends do I actually have? Just the Sheldred or Jason's Prodigy as well? Yeah, Caracas is awesome. A lot of value in to just having your mana base. Ooh, we have Library in our opener here. So the objective is, as I touched on during the draft portion, to not let the game run out of hand, and then Caracas will win. But if the game gets out of hand, it doesn't help me to have like 9 cards in hand. That is the opportunity of a turn 2 Sheldred, but I think I'm supposed to get Library going. I'm drawing on the opponent's upkeep because of Orcish Bowmasters. I can't Daze right now. I wouldn't really want to either, to be honest. Here's Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize is... So, you would think Thoughtseize is very strong here, but it really isn't. Like, I don't care about any individual card in my hand. I have a Library going. So, just like I want 1-for-1s, I also want my opponent to play 1-for-1s when I have the Library. And the more discard spells they play, the less they're impacting the board. The more times I can activate Library without, losing life total, etc., etc. So I'm not sad about getting Thoughtseized here, even though I do lose my best card. And funnily enough, that is Dark Ritual here for in the eyes of the opponent. So, now it could be time to change gears a little bit, which means play the island and pass. That way, I hold up Library activation, but I also hold up like counter magic. So let's say the opponent plays a very good 3-drop. I can counter it, get off Library for 1 turn, keep it going next turn. And if they don't, I just activate on the end step, which would make a card like Bowmasters, Hull Breacher, stuff like that viable, but I think that is what it is. So let's draw with the Library, and I feel like the opponent needs Bowmasters here, or they're going to be in trouble. No Bowmasters. Now I can do the same thing, basically. You have to discard if I play like this. Funnily enough, stealing the Mock seems very, very tempting here. Should I do that? Should I steal the Mox? Maybe it's okay to get off Library here. Steal the Mox. Still have days up. Maneuvering with the Library is not easy, because here, if I pass, I have to go to cleanup, which is not the end of the world at all. But I think stealing mana from someone who last game kind of struggled, probably had like expensive cards in hand, I think that's decent. Also, I don't care about, the Skydiver getting killed here. This is more like, yeah, deck fade, not a Mox. So it's not only a Stone Rain, it's also a ramp spell. This is just totally fine. So I steal my opponent's Mox, which helps me a lot. My opponent has Caracas, so Sheldred is bad. I'm basically looking for a window to Seed Shark and do something else. Okay, so now the opponent can start triggering Robber, which is That can be strong. The opponent can find some good stuff. Opponent found Dark Slick Shores. Lands are not playable off of Robber. Does the opponent not have a land? Okay, the opponent does not have a land. That is very good for me. I draw Time Warp, which is going to be very, very strong next turn. I mean, do I just play my land and pass? I think so. What else I could do is draw a card, play Chrome Host. Maybe that's just better. Okay, we'll try that. Draw. Reacher. Reacher, eh? I'm actually going to play that. I think I'm less sad about that card getting killed by whatever, Pyrokinesis or whatever we saw last game. And if it does stick, it's also winning the game. So pretty cool situation to be in. And the opponent was a green deck, so and doesn't have green mana. That's really not ideal. Let's see if I get Dismembered or whatever. Infernal Grasp, stuff like that. It's kind of the same situation. If the opponent trades for my card... Wow, here's the Bowmaster. Okay, that's cool. So the opponent actually had Bowmaster, just not at the time. Yep, totally fine. And then I expect my opponent to pass the turn. So now I don't really want to go into too much librarying here. So let's see. What does that mean? Maybe it's just... So let's see. I'm behind on life. That means I get a token for attacking, which is not bad. Let's see. Tap, tap, tap. Seed Shark. Can't play that off of those. So if I attack with my 2/4, I get a 1/1. I think that's reasonable. Get in for 2, build my board a little bit, hold up Mana Leak and Daze with the Shark out, so at least I have some 2/2s coming. Yeah, I don't see how the opponent can get out of this. I have a full grip here. The Time Warp is also going to be devastating. Now, worth noting is I'm ahead on life, so that means the Preacher will draw me cards now, and I don't necessarily want that against Bowmaster. Let's see what this is. Ranger class. So let's see. When it enters, you make it 2/2. Then for 2 mana, start pumping your stuff. Okay, we'll just Mana League that card. With Seed Shark out, any exchange is good for me, so I'm more likely to, you know, counter mediocre stuff. Also, I still have my guards up with Daze versus another decent 2-drop. If my opponent goes Pyrokinesis away the rest of their hand, it's not the end of the world. The Robber getting in here for the Desperation attack. Bitter Triumph is a good one. The opponent could have cast that Bitter Triumph before blocks, which I feel like they should have done. But maybe it doesn't matter because they just get dazed. But now I got the block in at least. Maybe the opponent has some kind of burn spell that can finish off the Shark. Yeah, okay. It's even 6 now. Okay. Am I gonna daze that card? I don't think so. It would get me another incubator token with 2 counters on it, but I think this is fine. The opponent just spent 2 resources dealing with 1 resource, and I even get left a 2/2 here, so not too worried. However, many of my cards have like draw a card written on them, so there's that. Maybe I go Time Warp. take a turn, and then like I'm playing the Shredder out in like opposite order here to not trigger the Bowmaster. Can attack with that. The opponent trades off. Fair enough. So now for my next turn, let's see. Go to 18. The opponent has a 4/3 in exile. So maybe, just maybe, attacking for 3 here is good. Playing the Shellred makes no sense, since the opponent can bounce end of turn. There are spots where, let's say the opponent was tapped out, that playing Shellred is good because it kind of locks their mana. But I don't think this is the case. We can just pass here with a couple of soft counters. If the opponent plays land, then Bone Crusher, I might have to cast 2 spells here. Really not what I want to do, but maybe it has to be done. Let's see. The Bowmaster is extremely annoying here against my draw. Here's miscalculation. Or I guess just annoying against my deck. If I find a removal spell, this is all over. That is not a removal spell. So let's see. Attacking with the Preacher, I draw a card. The opponent gets a 1/1. That 1/1 can block later. So that 1/1 can then trade off with, yeah, it's, I think I'm supposed to just attack with these two. Bowmaster's doing a lot of work here. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibilities that my opponent can come back here. I also have a lot of bad draws in my deck that just says, you know, draw a card. The One Ring. Yes. Very curious about this game. Draw? Grief? That doesn't work right now, so let's not cast that. I thought this game was not a game that was losable. But who knows? Who knows? Oh, actually, that would be epic if the opponent wins this game. Like, through library, bunch of good exchanges for me. And then the Soul Bowmasters that could. I'm low-key rooting for my opponent to get the job done. That would actually be quite awesome. Watley. Okay. The next turn, my opponent can flip a Planeswalker. Mountain. The opponent did not draw with One Ring, which is interesting. Yeah, I mean, let's draw something good. Huh? I'll try and cast this Grief, see what happens. Fable. Pretty nice hit there. Yeah, I mean, all of my cards says draw a card, so I have to keep this going. I feel like I should play land because there's some world where I draw cut down and then I want to like unload as much stuff as possible, and maybe I need one more land drop to cast all my spells. What a game. I believe this Watley is like make 2 3/3s or something, yeah. So there's 2 3/3s. I can still attack in the air, but it's not the best. Reef, force the trade, is that good? Here's Jace the Mind Sculptor, which is a very, very, very strong card. I feel like I should bounce the Bowmasters and, you know, unload some stuff. Bounce the Bowmaster. Okay. Play Knight's Whisper. Knive. Discard Sheldred, most likely. Nice snuff out. Draw 2. Okay. So maybe I go a life to kill a dinosaur. So my opponent can't double block the grief. Maybe. So let's see. Can I attack with this? Does my opponent die if I attack with the token? No, and then they go to 1. Maybe that's okay. But I think if they chum block the Preacher, I'm also very happy. Okay, let's try like this. Draw 1 more card. The opponent can chum block the Death Toucher. Ooh, is that any good? It's not any good right now. I wanted to check if I had any, like, flashback removal spell here, but I don't. I do, however, pass the turn with Snapcaster Mana League up. Opponent's at 1. No way to kill the opponent here? Doesn't look like it. Yep, Snapcaster Mana League will have to do. Pass. What does this do? Chapter 2. Okay, so creatures become like Birds of Paradise-ish. Now the opponent draws a card, so not only do they need to deal with the board, they also need to not die to the ring next turn. So funnily enough, because I... Okay, GG's. So cool little detail here. Because I played out the land at a turn where it was seemingly didn't do anything, when I drew the Jace, it led to me getting to cast some spells and pass the turn with 4 mana, which is Snapcaster Leak. Imagine I can only pass the turn with 3 mana, then I don't have Snapcaster Leak and can lose to random crap. Like, I don't know, Sneak Attack through the Breach or something. So sometimes it's like, what's the reasons to play out the land? What's the reasons to not play out the land? And oftentimes it's an information game about not playing out the land. But this game was not really about information. Like, we all knew that Bowmasters was the only thing keeping me from just crushing my opponent. And they would never, like, since that was like the name of the game, they would never like slow roll random stuff because of how many cards I had in hand. Like, that was just not what this game was about. This game was about unlocking the Bowmasters at some point and having as much mana as possible to kind of use that time frame. But yeah, that's just a small aside. We get a good grindy win round 1. Let's see what happens in the next one. Okay, this is round 2. I'm playing Blue-Black Control, and we're currently 1-0. And I feel like if we're going to do well with this deck, it's going to be the hard way, so to speak. This hand is decent. We're on the draw. Cut down can kind of bridge the gap. Daze doesn't work with Dark Slick. I think I let my opponent put more mana into the figure. There are like a few cards that can punish me, Mana Tithe being one of them. That card. So the sad thing is that card is actually also annoying. So let's see, which card is most likely to be annoying down the line? Maybe I just let my opponent soak some mana into either. I think that's the play. Shredder. The thing is, if my opponent turns the student into a 3/3, I can't cut it down. I would have loved to play the Shredder there, but... Okay, so we get to steal 2 mana here, which is quite strong. And then we're going to get hit for 2, threatening to hit for 4 next turn, which is a problem. Not gonna sugarcoat it. Also, I feel like if we don't draw the land, everything is just tough here. Okay. So let's play Shredder. I think that's better than holding up Hardcast Daze. I'm also aware that we could just get run over here by a good 3 or 4 drop and look silly. A card like Snuff Out, Bitter Triumph are insane out of my deck. Obviously just getting lands and, getting like an island, play Siege Yard, Daze something, maybe do good things with another land down the line. Yeah, the opponent senses weakness here, and I think it's a good play. But let's see. Now I'm gonna hold up the Daze. But that could easily be wrong. I have the Skydiver as well, but playing a 2/2 out to save damage I think is terrible. Hoping for a 5-drop here, but I'm not too confident about that. So okay, this is not this is not bad. Like, this is my only way to win this game. Maybe a card like Hull Breacher can go. So now I have a 2/4. I got 1 card closer to the land. So yeah, I mean, we have some kind of shot here. Now I'll play Preacher and pass, is that correct? I could have played Curtains and Skydiver, but I feel like I need to get rid of that Lelia for good. I'm in deep trouble here. Any removal spell on the Preacher and it's just lights out. Even if the opponent has a blue source and activates Colonnade, I'm in trouble. Okay. Parallax Wave is game over. That wasn't the best. Missing the land drops, etc. That's what happens sometimes. So we want Long Goodbye against white aggro, and a card like Shinobi doesn't seem very good. We can cut Shinobi. Also, maybe Lazav is decent as a cheap creature. Card like Knight's Whisper, it's not too exciting. Maybe I cut Knight's Whisper. Okay, we can try this. White can be a bad matchup. Things can get out of hand. But if we have our, answer cards that like Scolding this, remove that, then we can get into the mid game unscathed. That's like the point of the matchup. Okay. Is there any world I want to snuff out turn 1? I don't know, like Black Lotus Lelia. I guess it's fine to have that option. So this is like the classic game where blue-black has a good shot against aggro, where we get to turn 3 with nothing on the table. Unfortunately, I don't have like Shark, Preacher, etc., to take advantage of that time, but at least it's decent. Okay, so we drew the Curtains, which is not bad. We can play this out pretty freely here. This smelt a lot of 2-mana counter, but I think that's okay. Okay, that card is good. So other cards we can deal with removal, but this is actually annoying because it leaves behind stuff. So I should probably flip the Curtains here, even though it's not insane. Let's see what the opponent's working with. Bunch of good cards, to the surprise of no one. So Chain Lightning, probably the opponent's worst card. Bunch of like heavy investments here that die the Snuff Out and Bitter Triumph, which is decent. If I get wind, yeah, I don't mind getting ramped here. So maybe I take the gold span because that leaves behind mana for the opponent. Then the opponent plays Winota. Yeah, I think this is okay. So the opponent has one unknown and those cards left. I need some kind of card advantage this game. Otherwise, I feel like I'm just gonna be in some like top deck war because the opponent can deal with this. Trade out my removal. Let's see. The opponent plays planes. This is kind of weird, but that's fine. Student, sure. So we know our opponent's mystery card was planes, and they drew the Sentinel like either of those, right? So I'll fetch a tap land before my turn. And I feel like I should keep attacking this game. Would be pretty nice to draw something that impacts the board. Snapcaster, okay, that's not terrible. So I feel like I should attack here. Because I have removal spell for Winota. I miss my land drop here, so my opponent's less incentivized to cast Winds of Abandon. There's the mountain we knew about. There's Winota, I would imagine. So we kill that with Bitter Triumph, pay 3 life, I guess. Kill that. Take damage. You could argue it was a bad, maybe it's fine. Especially now that I drew the land. So maybe I go Time Warp. No, I don't go Time Warp. The opponent then gets a draw. Okay, so I attack for 3 here, and then I use Snapcaster Bitter Triumph to kill the student. The opponent has Winds of Abandon, Chain Lightning in hand. Chain Lightning can be annoying, but maybe that's okay. Maybe it's just Snuff Out on that card. Or do I actually want to trade off the Sentinel? I guess I do. So Snapcaster, target Bitter, go to 9. Or discard Dark Ritual, actually. Okay, I'll discard Dark Ritual here. I don't think that card is that good this game. So let's do kill, discard Dark Rit, pay. Solid 2 for 1. I still have my Revealing Eye in play. The opponent has Winds of Abandon, Chain Lightning, and 1 unknown in hand, so let's see. Could be some annoying card like the Emperor. That would be very, very bad for me. I feel like I play around Mana Tithe here. Live card. Library of Alexandria is not very good here. Attack my opponent down to 5. Then I get winded. Guess I'll hold the library because I play Shredder, JVP, and stuff. Apparition. So if I kill that, I get a 1/1. It's really not exciting. Maybe I try and beat that card. Getting a 1/1 is quite bad. So I guess Jace just trades for Chain Lightning. The opponent can cycle a land here, get deeper. Yeah, I'm not in good shape here. I think I did a reasonable job trading the way I could with my cards. Tried the tempo plan out, Time Warp, picking out a card from the opponent's hand. I don't know. Atari, so I mean, keeping the snuff out was a nice move instead of losing the game. Long goodbye. Long goodbye, and then I get a 1-1. Okay, now I guess we're just back to the same plan where I kill the figure. And, like, keep taking my hits here. I think I'm actually gonna not play the Long Goodbye now, because I have Ledger Shredder. If I draw Shredder, I can go Shredder, then Long Goodbye, cycle the library. And it's like, how do I get punished? Like, if I draw Jace the Mind Sculptor into another spell or something? I think this is okay. Here's Mana Leak, so I guess I'll just do this now. Or not. Yeah, this is like, if I can get my opponent to tap 6 lands here for the figure to go for lethal, I think that's worth it. The opponent could see my tapping here as some kind of bluff. Here's the Long Goodbye. I go to 6. I still have some kind of fighting chance here. Sheldred would be amazing. Well, maybe not. I guess it just dies after one trigger. Okay, we had a good chance this game. We did some good trades. We set ourselves up, but obviously we can win now. This was a good match. The white deck basically showed that it has, like, both. It can both be aggressive and have individual card quality. Like, normally when an aggro deck has like 6 or 7 lands, it's not good, right? But oh, okay, funny. The opponent plays Fury, and now I have to find 2 answers to stay in the game. So, unfortunately, the opponent has a removal spell in hand. Otherwise, I could go, no, that doesn't work. Yeah, like, bounce the Apparition, but now I need to brainstorm into 2 relevant cards, which is unthinkable almost. Good games, cool match. Okay, that was we got a beating here by red white. Huh. I like the game a lot though. This is like my style of game. I have some life total I have to manage. When do I cast my removal on which threats? How much damage do I take in the meantime? Oh, can I maybe tempo something out here? Like, make who's the beatdown change? I like that a lot. All right, that puts me at 1-1. 1 match to go. Let's see if we end up with a losing or a winning record. Round 3. We keep losing the roll, which is not ideal. Ooh, we get the rest here. I was getting excited about the Dark Ritual Sheldred combo, but if the opponent doesn't want me to do that, that's not going to happen here. Dark Ritual is gone. Now I will go turn 1 Curtains. Unfortunately, Snapcaster Dark Ritual doesn't get you anywhere unless you need to filter your mana into triple black. Portable Hole. Okay. It looks like we're playing against red. Wow. Black-white Disruption, which is another tough. Like, that archetype just has so much stuff. It's like the deck we just faced. It's not just like fast aggro. This is also like a lot of disruption. I really like to draft black-white. So my guess is I don't get to cut down anything this turn. I don't think the opponent would help me out like that. Ooh, there's even blue in that deck. Lurrus to hand. Cut down is a good card against Lurrus, though. Not gonna play Naked 2-1 out here. The counterspell could be good. But with no land, if my opponent doesn't play into it, I feel like I'm cycling end of turn. For that reason, I actually have miscalculation, like, just on par with Mana Leak. Sure, it works less often as a counter, but the flexibility is awesome. Okay. So, is there any world I cut down that creature with the intention of flashbacking it on Lurrus later? I don't know. I'll try and cycle here and get to my swamp. I did not get to the swamp, but I did get to another card that's like good in a longer game. I feel like I should have a Seed Shark under here. Now I could actually see the cut down. Cut that down, cycle away the Time Warp. It's not amazing. Let's see. No, it's actually quite terrible, but I mean, I drew the Shinobi, so now I look like a genius. Quite terrible, because the opponent can just go Lurrus, Thraben, but then I guess I get rid of the Lurrus for good. Trigger Shredder once more. Yeah, okay, maybe it's not that bad, but it wasn't a good cut down, that's for sure. Looks like the cat is here to play, and then the opponent will play Thraben and trigger my Shredder. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Get rid of that card. Okay. Yeah, I feel like I should just play this Sheldred out. The opponent took the Dark Ritual earlier, so it's like, it must be good against the deck. Or against the draw, rather. Let's see if we can keep this in play. That'll bolster my situation a lot. Okay. Wasn't meant to be. Swamp. Excuse me. So getting one more card out of my deck there is not nothing when I have a Sheldock here. Oh, getting Mind Twisted. My opponent's last card is Lurrus. Yeah. I'm getting smoked here. Hull Breacher is definitely not a bad one. I don't think, unfortunately, I'm gonna catch anything nice with it. Lurrus. The opponent has Thraben in the yard. I think I'm gonna snipe my opponent here. I'm not gonna play out the Hull Breacher proactively. Also, I don't want to trade with that card. Yeah, this is tough times. Very tough times. Not exactly just in time. That would have been awesome for the Lurrus. But now I think things are... Yeah, the thing is, I think I need to trade off that Lurrus. Yeah, okay. But then I take 4, the opponent can make one more. Yeah, this is just... I need to get so lucky with the shark into some action. Yeah. Lingering Souls is likely too much. I don't have sweepers. I don't have like any... Like, once the game is like out of hand, my deck is not a very good comeback deck, basically. So, funnily enough, that card can steal just the portable hole. Okay. I'll move to sideboarding here. Whoa. Yeah, I got smoked there. So similar matchup as the last one, where Shinobi is most likely not the best. Uh, Lazav might be cool. Maybe I cut Time Warp. I feel like those expensive cards are generally tough to make work. Okay. Really, I'm getting my ass handed to me here by the white decks. This is a funny hand. So turn 2 Sheldred, hope for the best. Shelldog and Sheldred. The Shell team deck. I think card like Jace the Mind Sculptor is the most clutch if we get to the late game. This hand is pretty cool. Turn 2 Sheldred, turn 3 Spellseeker for, I don't know, Bitter Triumph or something. Okay, never mind. Yeah, discard spells are so good in Cube because oftentimes it doesn't take that much to break your opponent's puzzle. Like, the classic is like Can Lemmercool, Sneak Attack Atraxa, whatever. Like, if you take one of those, the other one's a dead card. Now, this is not really the case because this is a perfectly castable 4-drop, but you get the point, right? It's from insane upside to mediocrity, and it's just a Druss. So I really like the disruption cards. I think, yeah, Thoughtseize is obviously the best. I think I like Duress more than Inquisition, but the point is, discard spells are good in Cube. Even the Bat 2-drop is good. Bronco, so that card is insane. Thankfully, I drew removal. It's insane in the sense that it just keeps it coming, like Dark Confidant, basically. So which one do I want here? I think I'll use my mana slightly better here. Go Spellseeker for... could be, let's see, could be something like Leak or Night's Whisper. Maybe Night's Whisper is actually what we want here. So then next turn I can go like JVP, Night's Whisper. Hopefully without being under too much pressure. The opponent, okay. So now I'm very scared of Night's Whisper, what's it called? Full Breacher, but I don't think we can do much about that. Play the land to play around Spell Pierce and Miscalc. No more lies. Fair enough. Then I'll play Jace, attack for 1. And worth noting, it got exiled, so Jace is harder to flip, and I can't flash it back later. And I didn't get to dig deeper for my second black. Let's see what the Stuntman has for us here. It's cool to play these Lurrus decks, like low to the ground, which is what you want to be anyway. I don't get to play many Lurrus decks because I always find, like, what do I know? Minskenbu, Oko, Hullbreacher, Narset, whatever, and Tinker or something. And then at that point, it's not really worth it. Okay, that was a nice draw. So let's play the Sheldred. Ooh, looks like the opponent has one more counter here. Brutal. That's another classic of a couple of turns ago or last turn, whatever it was. Playing around miscalculation to get miscalculated later. That's like classic. Maybe I try and spike a little bit with this Daze. It is very hit or miss, though. I'll attack here because the opponent can easily grow the Sash on their turn, so I'm not going to block. Yeah, fair enough. Not much to be said here. We got completely demolished in this match. Good exchange for the opponents all the time. Even like presenting must deal with threats and having like grindy cards like Companion Lurus, Lingering Souls to make sure I don't get frisky. So yeah, this deck was. I guess we can wait with that until the game is actually over, but I was just reflecting a bit on the weaknesses of this deck getting exposed here the last couple of rounds. Because this is never going to be the best control deck, but it's never going to be the best aggro deck either. So discard that. Long goodbye that. Attack for 1. So even just like the chunky Burrows deck, we had a hard time like pound for pound against that deck. And it looks to be the same against this. Like the opponent just has solid cards, so once their mana works, which I mean their mana looks a bit ambitious, but once the mana works with Duress, nice Disruption, Bronco, must deal with, just nice one-for-ones in Miscalc and No More Lies, refill with Ancestral, good resilient threats like Lurus and Lingering Souls, then you'll just crush a deck like mine. Let's say we're both firing on, you know, the same cylinder, so to speak. Then I feel like I'm terribly ahead with this. No, terribly behind rather with this kind of deck. So let's see if we can. Okay, that card dies. Sure. And then the opponent can put Lurus to hand or Flashback Souls. Maybe if I'm lucky, I get today's a Flashback Soul here. The opponent still has a lot of cards in hand, and I'm not close to having my Jace. Brutal, 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 brutal. So basically, we faced in this round a deck that was trying to do the same thing, like at mix between small ball and like late game durability. They just did it better. No souls, so the opponent held up something or played around days. Mm-hmm. So now I can flash in the Hull Breacher. I wonder what the opponent kept up the other turn. Maybe it was just like Mana Tithe or something. Reef is not a bad one. Because it lets me get rid of Lurus from the opponent's hand. Okay, the opponent didn't hold up anything. Interesting. So I have to take the Lurus here, but then my opponent just has, you know, other stuff to do. If I was on 21 cards, maybe I would have a shot. Oh, the opponent's at 19 now. I missed that. Okay, so I can Jace next turn. Now I get to... Okay, I mean, so you're saying there's a chance? Okay, okay, okay. So what's the rest of the opponent's hand? Oh, I get... Jace gets force negated. But I had to counter that Souls, I feel like. Because it's just so good against Jace. Attack with both, trade off, I guess. I guess I can just draw better than the opponent from here, but the chances are so low. Mind Twist for Uno. That's fine. Opponent can... Okay, so the last card was Adanto Vanguard. From Miscalculation. feel like I should cycle here. I have some good 3-drops in the deck. And that's not one of them. So now the opponent has to draw step before me and a clue token and a creature in play, so time is running out here. I have something like creature that would be quite awesome. What else? Something like Seed Shark into something. Dark Confidant, very nice. Cycle into the Preacher. Okay, okay. But now with the Confidant, the opponent's fail rate is just non-existent. Let's see what the opponent has to seal the deal here. Cycle Land does not seal the deal. Neither does Usher. So now, if I attack, since I'm behind on life, which is kind of sad, I get a 1/1. I think that's okay. 1/1 is a good blocker in this spot. Okay. So the opponent wants that trade, which is fine. Then I can play Seed Shark and maybe draw something? You know, I mean, now that this is anyone's game. Portable Hole doesn't help a whole lot. So now I'm kind of stabilized. Wow, what a draw. I mean, that card is insane. What can I do here? Because this is an indestructible creature. So let's see. Snapcaster, Long Goodbye. That should be like healing 4 to the opponent. Because they would have to pay 4 life. And then I have more. Yeah, I mean, okay. The opponent draws a big spell. It's a counter. I think I take the damage because of that flexibility. Now I'm at 9. Cycling, so I might get to counter. No, I don't. Okay. So I think what I'm supposed to do here is Snapcaster Long Goodbye. Then the opponent has to pay life, but if they do, they go to 1. This card can't be countered. The opponent tries to mana leak. The opponent lets it die. All of a sudden, we're in this game. Or like we're winning this game. Let's see what the opponent can do here. No, is that the 6-drop? Even better. That's amazing. This game is amazing. Wow. That I didn't see that card coming out of that deck after seeing like random creatures. And now I'm losing the game again. Wow, this game was cool. I'm happy it got like prolonged by I got some decent draws. The opponent had some terrible draws. Like that's super cool. The more turns, the better. The Colonnade, is that beatable? Oh boy. Now I have to draw something that deals with the token. I'm at 3. I need to draw something. Watch. The opponent with the misclick there. The misclick, no attack. That's brutal. 2 to the bottom, and I draw brick. Okay, so we have one more turn because the opponent misclicked. Now I'm at 3. I draw cut down, which unfortunately does not kill that. That was a very cool match to end the video with. Wow, that game just kept on giving. Yeah, I mean, I love the games with this deck, but obviously when you face like power or a decent Luris deck, it's not gonna. I'm not gonna be favored, that's for sure. But I really enjoyed the games. The back and forth here was awesome. I think I managed my removal spells relatively well here. Gave myself a chance to win, and then got some draws to prolong the match once the chips were down. And yeah, the opponent pulled out victorious with a Wrath of all cards against my blue-black control deck, and won on the back of it. So yeah, I mean, great games. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.